Hey everyone, good to see you. I'm just gonna hiccup right there. William's in the chat, just got some lunch. And well, I got some lunch. I don't know if William did. Let's go look at that partial F. First question of the day. What's the partial F? Here we go. So what is the partial F going to allow us to do? It's going to allow us to look at a complex model to a simple model. So when we look at the partial F right here, it's ANOVA. The code for it is ANOVA simple comma complex. So I didn't close that parentheses right there. Maybe you're wondering what's the code for it. So the code for it's going to compare the simpler model, the smaller model, to the bigger model. And so when we run the code right here, we could take our model. Let's make a model to compare two models right here. So we've got plus weight, desired weight. You're welcome. Desired weight plus GPA. And we've stored that as M now. Let's only use desired weight now. And let's call this the simple model. And let's call this the complex model. It is a very much simple model because it only has one variable, kind of doubling down on the word of it being simple. And so now when we have two models right here, a one variable model versus a three variable model, we can see we can run the partial F by going to ANOVA and doing m.simple. We put the simple model first, and then we do comma m.complex. And now we're doing the comparison of the simple to the complex. One thing that I don't really care about in the output, but it's probably the only other thing to know, is the number 2. And the number 2 right here is going to be the number of parameter estimates between the models. So William, what is this telling us right here in this output? You can see your simple model right here, the one with just desired weight in it, versus the complex model, which just means it has more things in it, with weight, desired weight, and GPA. What does this p-value right here tell us? And for those wondering, this is a p-value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 6, 4. That is the p-value right there if you're looking at non-scientific notation. So what does this p-value right here tell us comparing the simple to the complex? And so this is a very important interpretation type thing right here where we say like, oh, this is telling us that this is going on. And so what does it, you are correct. So it is significant. So the p-value is most definitely significant. And what does it mean that this p-value here is statistically significant? Use the complex model. Yep. The reduction in sums of squared error going from the simple to the complex is statistically significant. So since we have a low p-value, we are going to use the bigger model because going from the smaller model, which was the one variable model in this instance, to make this for the context of the example we're doing, we could put the variable numbers right here. We went from a one variable model to a three variable model, and thus we're looking at a difference in the two variables. So we're saying, do these two variables right here add new information that is unlikely by random chance? And we're saying, is the reduction in sums of squared error, which is just reducing error, statistically significant? And you can see right here, the reduction is statistically significant with the addition of the two variables. You can see the two variables right here. I could put them in a better order so you can see them a little better by putting desired weight first right there. And now when we run it, you'll see desired weight plus these two additional variables, and that's where the 2 is coming from right here. So once again, the reduction, or excuse me, the p-value of the reduction, which tells us whether or not it's statistically significant, is right there. And this is the non-scientific notation version of this number, which is ridiculously statistically significant. Also, this reduction, we didn't really talk about the F, but the reduction is 21 times larger than we would have expected via random chance, which is very large when we look at the standardized p-value of it. Or F is also standardized. What additional questions are there? William, great question to start us out. Reviewing the partial F right here and how to do it. You need to make sure you have a simple versus a complex model. Your simple model just has fewer variables in it. I think you're comparing your polynomial model. And actually, there's something I didn't show today. Let's talk about how to make polynomial models, because I didn't show that. We talked about them, but I didn't show you how to make them. So this will be super important right here. This is how to actually create a polynomial model. And let's look at our 3 variable model right here and see if we can create a polynomial model for it. Let's go take a look at this. So a lot of people are probably going to need this part of the video. You're probably watching it right now saying, how do I make those polynomial models? So we have right here a 3 variable model. What I need to do to check for polynomial models is I actually need to create 3 separate models. My 3 separate models are going to be using my 3x variables right here. So let's just copy this 3 times, change the numbers, and go through here and just take the first x the second x, and the third x. Does this make sense? Does this make sense right here, William? I have now made 3 models, 3 simple models. They all just have 1x because choose order takes a simple model or a 1 variable model and looks at to see if there's higher polynomial orders. And we're going to look at this output here in a second to look at the choose order. We'll put the choose orders right after this right here. Here's our choose order M1, choose order M2, and choose order M3. So these are all just simple models trying to explain height using desired weight, height using weight, height using GPA, and let's go through here and look at the output. So this will be a review of choose order, and then we'll look at the polynomial orders we decide on. We'll put some hashtags next to this so we can put a note. Okay, so here's the first model right here, and what do? Step 1, choose the highest R-squared adjusted. Boom, highest R-squared adjusted. Step 2, subtract 0.005. I'm going to put this in the chat. Put the 3 steps in the chat. Step 1, highest R-squared adjusted. Step 2, subtract 0.005. Step 3, choose model that meets standard starting with simplest model. So we're going to look right here. Does it meet the standard? No. Does it meet the standard? No. And this one meets the standard. So the answer for this one is order 3. Next, we're going to go here to this next model. And we have here the highest R-squared adjusted. Boom. Subtract 0.05, step 2. Check to see if it meets the standard. No, 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 and yes, because it's above this. So this is going to be order number 4. And then we check GPA. GPA, highest R-squared adjusted, is this one right here. We subtract 0.05 and we get that. So let's go ahead and check. Does not meet standard. Does meet standard. So this right here is going to be order number 2. And that's got it. So how are we going to make this model now? Let's go grab our complex model and change the name of it a little bit here to m.poly because it's going to be a polynomial model. Now, there's not much we need to change right here, but we just need to change and put a function around this, which is poly. The poly function, and I can kind of make it nicer to read by doing this right here so you can see which one I'm doing it to each time. We're going to choose the polynomial order related to, so this is an inner function right here on the variable. We're going to change the polynomial order on this to 3, and we could just check to make sure it runs. It runs good. And then we're going to go to this one. We're going to put a poly function around it, which is going to allow us to create a polynomial order on it. And we're going to put this to the 4th order polynomial function. And we're going to go right here to this one and go around it and just add a poly to it and put a 2nd degree polynomial. So this is adding the polynomial orders we decided upon for these variables, which we think will help explain better. So this is our polynomial model right here. The summary on it's going to be a little bit crazy because we're going to have way more variables in this model. So looking at this model right here, let's go take a look at the app. Wow, we need to rerun that. Went around the screen, getting the graphic error. And there it is right here. We've got a lot of significant stuff. There is some non-significant like GPA. GPA is just trash, literally. And we see here that some of these are doing really well. Especially the desired weight to the 3rd order polynomial is still doing well. So maybe this helps. R-squared adjusted, R-squared of 66, R-squared adjusted of rounded up to 66. I don't know how this partial F will turn out. So we have a model here with a lot of variables in it. And then we have our complex model with also a good bit of variables. Remember, our R-squared adjusted is 65.78. That's a fair comparison of models. And 62. So if I'm to guess, this partial F will come back significant when I compare these 2 models. So the smaller model is the complex. I called it complex, doesn't matter what I call it, but it has less than the, is it man? No application, ANOVA. There we go. I think you can technically reverse them. It'll change some numbers to negative in the output, but the p-value still turns out the same. You see it's negative sums of squares, so it's not the end of the world if you reverse them. It's always, this p-value is always relative to should you use the bigger or smaller value, bigger or smaller model. And it should be pretty clear from here. This is like another review of partial F again. So I wouldn't do it that order. I'd do the smaller model first, which here's the smaller model. Smaller model just has 3 variables. The bigger model has 6 variables coming from, I don't want to wrap the screen. The extra 6 variables are coming from 2 from right here. Really? Really? It's not going to go one screen? Guess it won't. 2 variables right here from the extra second and third degree. So that's 2 right there. 3 coming from right here, because I know it says 4, but we already have the linear part of it right here. And then we have the second and third and fourth polynomial order right there, in addition to the linear. And then there's 1 right here. So you're getting your 2, 3, 1, extra 6. That's where the extra 6 coefficients. If you want to view those extra 6 coefficients, you can view them right here. That's the complex model. So let's go look at the poly. There's 3 coefficients. So we should see 6 extra right here with the poly model. And do we see 6 extra? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More specifically, those are coming from 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. Because we already have the linear trend. These were the 3 original ones. Linear trend for desired weight, linear trend for weight, and linear trend for GPA were already included in the model right here. So you already have those polynomial parts of the model right there. And that's what 1 means next to this. When you see 1 right here, that's talking about the linear polynomial trend, which is a linear trend. It's a non-polynomial trend. Well, that's got how to do the choose order, especially the code. So you should be able to go through here and look at your simple models and then figure out what is the correct polynomial order for them going through the output. Please, 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 if you are stuck on this, let me know. But that should help you with that. What additional questions? Maybe we could do an influence plot next. What questions do people have right now? Let me know in the chat. Whatever you're working on, let me know those questions. I'm going to set up a stream right here, I think, really briefly. Let's see. We'll see. Let's see what questions people have. I'm going to get another stream set up. Setting up the stream for later today. I got a Stat201 Kahoot later today. If you're here from Stat201, feel free to say hey and ask questions. So we can review tomorrow afternoon at 7 p.m. So that's 6 p.m. my time. I'm making sure I said it for the right time. I don't want to say the wrong time. Let's go ahead and go live. If you are here in the chat, ask questions if you have them. So we go. Reuse settings. 6 p.m. my time. Everything good right there? Stat201, exam 1, review game. Okay. Got that made. And let me grab the link. Copy the link. It's good to go. Send this out to 201. Okay, got it. Throwing in the link. And they have it. Let's see if people ask questions in the chat. Oh, who all is here? What questions are there? I might do influence plot, how to talk about that here in a second. Because I know that'll come into some play. Clicking through. I get so many random emails. So many just random emails. This is good internet right now, good everything. Well, let's talk about an influence plot. And actually, let's look at the influence plot for one of these models. Let's go do that here real quick. Let's do an influence plot. We got that email sent out to 201. Awesome stuff. Let's go look at an influence plot. So with an influence plot is going to show us two things. It's going to show us if points have high leverage. Also, what problem I'm going to do some influence plots trace, but feel free to ask a question, anything. This segment's on influence plots and how they show us if points have high leverage or if a point has a high deleted studentized residual. So you can take any of your model, right? Any of your models you've made, like maybe even the poly model, I think it'll work for, and we can make an influence plot. Oof. A lot of people in class were like, I don't like this. I don't like what's going on right here with this influence plot. So if you look, we do have some rather large influential points, but they don't meet the criteria for technically high influence. We want to look at if they have high leverage, which this is the high leverage point. No leverage is 0. So these points down here have next to no leverage or probably no leverage, which means they're at the mean of the x's. This is where high leverage begins. This, as we go further over, is just more extreme leverage, which is our idea of the seesaw, and the further you are away from the mean of the x's. Now, it's in the multivariate sense, it's like a multivariate mean of x's. So the further you are away from the mean of the x's, the more leverage you have. So we can see right here, this is kind of where high leverage would begin, and this is the mean of the x's. To be very specific, the mean of the x's is right here at the center of this. High leverage, like when we say something has too much leverage, might be about here, and then it'd be like equidistance away. So this is where leverage is equal to a big 0 because you're at the mean of the x's, which is kind of weird because when you look at this graphic, it kind of bends your mind because you're like, wait a minute, is this not the mean of the x's? No, at this point you have some leverage. You have undue leverage beyond this, as in too much, and you have not really too much leverage over here. So these are the points that have, we would say, too much leverage. We're saying they are too far away from the mean of the x's over here, just further over beyond this line. So when you look at outside of these lines, this would be something directly on the model. So when you think about your model right here, a deleted studentized residual, has anyone gotten over, not right now, I don't think, you might be the top point getter right now, Trace. Let me look. The top point getter right now on the side note, I have more points than you. You are in second place to me, Trace. You are in second place. Andrew has meme score status, but Trace, you are in second place. I could mention who's in third, but they might know it too. You're only in second place to me, Trace. Amazing job, yeah, and I think it's showing. Yeah, and you've got a lot of hours too, because with other classes. But you are in first of students. So you currently are leading. Congratulations, Trace. Excellent work. And it's really interesting. We've got this jump off where after the people getting 10,000 points, it kind of drops off, and then yeah, it's interesting to me. I'm looking at the points, and there's a bunch of big drop offs to where I'm seeing there's quite a few people who, yeah, I'm just looking at the points right here and how it works. And it's like, okay, we got our like usual watchers, and then we got, yeah, man, that's crazy. Well, be getting those points, be working hard for them. Definitely worth the bonus at the end of the semester. So great job. And yeah, just show up live, talk and chat, get those points, bet on those points. You got it. And so right here, you'll notice these points have too high of a deleted studentized residual, as are these, as in too extreme of a value outside of +2 or -2, which means they're far away from the line. I can't visualize the model itself, but just the predicted values when we remove their influence, or the values themselves when we remove their influence, are far away from their predicted values. These are the actuals. I did that in 201. Once I hit the points, I stopped watching live, but I figured I couldn't do that. Yeah, no. Keep watching live. That's why I need to be careful, because I think some people do that, and it's probably my fault. That's why I upped to it to 2.5. Maybe, you know what I might do? I might just up it to 3 or something, but we got to make it crazy like 30,000. And then I think someone might want me to combine their points. So maybe I could do that. We've got one more week, so maybe we could do a final thing right here. But it's not going to be many people who get that max amount of crazy bonus. So, we could look into that. And I've got to, it's going to be a crazy week. So, quick question. What if you choose the highest value, subtract the 0.005, and the highest R squared with the simplest order is the, yep. That can happen. That means you would stick to the one you chose. Because if you go down, you're like, doesn't meet it, and it's your original one, then you keep with it. So if the first one that meets it is your original one, then you keep with it. Great job right there, William. You got it. Awesome work. And so, you know what I think you can do? I shouldn't tell people that command because everyone's going to be checking it. Can we only use a simple regression in the choose order? Correct. Yep, that is correct. And I was showing that a little while ago, Ivan. So great question right there, Ivan. But we can see how many points are influential in our model using the influence plot. There's the points right here. Just a little bit of this. Is it going to do the top thing? I thought it would show me the top point getters. I thought Mubot would show that. No, he doesn't respond to that. Maybe I turned that off. And so right here, you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. It looks to be due, and this is kind of helping out this question. The high leverage points don't have a large enough deleted studentized residual. Thank you so much, William, right there. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the 6 points. They've got a combination of decent leverage along with decent deleted studentized residual. We have some more extreme leverage points, but the model predicts them pretty well. So overall, it looks to be due to this combo. So yeah, good stuff right there. I'll hop back on the screen. We'll go back to space. What questions are there? I got to fix that background that keeps breaking. We could go back and review some stuff, but what question? What question? I need like that second cup of coffee. Might go get some white chocolate. We're like 7 in. He's scanning through right now trying to find it. What question is there? What question? Put on a little music. We've talked about leverage plots today. I guess we have variable. I don't think I put variable creation on the assignment. I think we've covered all the whole assignment almost. Have we gone over number 2? Let's take a look at number 2. More directly, number 2 right here. Yep, we've done it, but we can go over it. This is what Ivan was asking about, so maybe Ivan's still watching live. Let's hope. So with your model, we'll do it from scratch. Let's just call this our model right here. So with our model, I sent you a really good running documentary on Discord about Barclays Marathon. Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I ever want to do a marathon. I'm scared of them. Scared. Because they're intense. Like, that's a lot. I was up towards that area before, but I just don't know if I got enough. I ran for 2 minutes yesterday, and I was happy. I was like, 2 minutes of running? Woo! Like a good pace running. Like a good, probably like 5:45, 6-minute mile pace. Watch me be at like an 8-minute mile pace. I think I know my paces still. I think I do. If I run a 6-minute mile again, I'll be happy. And then I'm going to probably start running 5Ks. Who knows? Okay. So here's our model right here. Let's just make it. Don't use my models. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't do the same thing I'm doing. So this brings up what Ivan was bringing up about the choose order function. The choose order function can only take simple models. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a few simple models. Just copy pasting. If you notice, no, that's the one I wanted to keep. If you notice, my first model has just desired weight in it. My second model has weight in it. And these are just the variables, meaning variable number 3. If you want to be technical, you could call it x1, x2, x3, looking at that right there. A little more technical names to them. Whatever you want to call them is fine. And we've created all the models. But now we want to go through and look at the choose order for these. And the choose order is going to show us the polynomial order for these to see what polynomial order we should be using. So looking at this right here, we have to know how to read the output. Step 1. Who can help us here with step 1? What is step 1? I'll put them in the chat here again. Step 1 is what when you're doing this? Who can tell us which one we're choosing? I'm putting the options in the chat right now on how we do this. Mubot's talking between me. So step 1 is what? To choose. There it is. Microphone's acting weird. There we go. Find the largest r squared. Exactly. So the largest r squared is going to be this one right here. Looks to be 5. Exactly. Great job, Trace, right there. And then we're going to subtract from it, step 2, 0.05. This creates our standard by which we will see which model we're going to pick. Really? It does that well by itself? Well, I'll be. I'm hoping I did it correctly last time. I think I did. And so this is our standard. This does not meet it. This does not meet it. This does meet it. And by meeting it, I mean it's above it. Always start from the bottom and go up. You don't want to start down here. The goal right here is to find a simpler model that does just as well, or basically as well, as our best model. Our best model was this, and within 0.005 of our model would be this. So we check, no, no, and then yes, it's above this standard. So right here, we will choose order number 3. Next, we run this, and here we'll grab our choose order in here, and we'll use x2, and let's take a look. What model looks to be the best right here on this screen? What model currently looks to be the best? What model? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 has the highest R squared adjusted right here. The highest R squared adjusted is either model 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Which one? I reappear. Number 6, correct. And from here, we're just going to subtract 0.005, and then we check this. We go here and we say, does not meet it, does not meet it, does not meet it, and does meet it. So that means we're going with order number 4. And so now, great job, Ivan. Yep, and so we're kind of reviewing it again right here if you watch the first part. And then we go here, make our last model with the third variable, and we check right here. Who knows? Let me ask the big question. Go through the steps and tell me which order am I going to pick. It's kind of, if you look at the output, you can kind of see it a little bit. None of these are really great, but which of these am I going to pick? Which this is a bad variable, but it's not the end of the world. We probably shouldn't include it anyways, technically. Which of these models will I pick? Like, I know the steps. Just kind of jump to the end. So jumping to the very end right here, which of these models would I pick? I think you might be doing the steps, Ivan, right? Yeah, I think you're doing the steps. No, you can do the steps, and then, like, you're right. Choose model 3, subtract 0.005, and then using the 0.005 standard, which model would you pick? Are you picking number 3? Double check your math. Double check your math. I think if you're doing the steps, I understand you would say number 3 is the one you start with. Number 3 is the one you start with. Like doing the steps right here. So that is, I was just having us jump to the end. Like, that should help show what the answer should be. Is it? No. What? Yeah, it's so easy to make a small mistake. I think you see it right now, right? 2 meets the standard, order 2. Yep. It's really close. It's one of those like, it doesn't matter, and it's a bad variable anyways. But now the question becomes, how do we make this polynomial model? So making the polynomial model requires, basically, let's just take our same model from earlier and let's start to augment it. One thing we can do that makes things a little bit nice is we can start using the pluses and put them on their own lines. So we can put the x's on their own lines. There we go. Yeah, cool. That looks got a nice structure to it. Let's take a look at this structure and see how it works right here. You got your y tilde x or y tilde x plus x plus x plus x data equals. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a function around this called poly. If you remember, we chose the polynomial degree of 3 on this. So we're going to use the argument 3. We're going to go right here around this and put a poly around it. And then we're going to use polynomial degree 4. And I hope seeing it this way helps break it apart to we're just doing a polynomial function on this, which will create the polynomial variables. And we're just doing the argument of to what degree do we want the polynomial. So the first argument is what do you want it to create a poly of? And then the second argument is to what degree do you want that polynomial? And so we create the model, and here's the model. Now we won't be able to visualize this. I wish we could, but just I don't know how to visualize something with, I know how to visualize second, third degree, fourth order polynomials, but not multiple regression polynomials. And here are our models. Right here is the model right here. And there it is. That's got it. You can see the second order. Here's the original order. Here's the fourth order of this variable, third and second. It carries through model hierarchy, more on that as we start teaching more topics. But this carries through model hierarchy here and has the first, second, third degree polynomial order. This is just the linear trend. You could see this here from our, did we call the original model M again? I'm always calling my original models M. You could be the first one to code up a way to visualize multiple regressions. I bet maybe someone's done it. There's some multiple regressions we can visualize. Like there's a lot you can visualize easily. Like if we do right here an interaction, we should be able to visualize this. Well, it's called MX3. So, and so we get a, can't think of the name of it. Implicit lines plot says it on it. There we go. So we get an implicit lines plot, giving us, it's basically solving for some values of one X variable and then giving us, you see the interaction is not significant. We can also do a multiple regression with something like categorical variable, next chapter, coming up tomorrow. And there we go. No, it's got the interaction. So this is indicator regression with an interaction on it. So we'll be talking tomorrow about interactions to start and how interactions will change the impact of one variable based on another. And tomorrow we'll also get into indicator variables, which, when do you think we use indicator variables? So just take a look at this model right here that has an indicator variable in it. And Trace, when do you think we would use indicator variables? Just kind of an addendum, then we'll go to a new topic right here. But what do you think indicator variables are used for? Like when would we be using indicator variables in regression? What kind of variables in our regression model would create indicator variables? Who knows? Let's throw some 20 points. We haven't thrown out points in a while. So there's something different about this model right here. So we'll be X values. So we're just comparing our registers to the poly to the original. Let me look at the question. It'd be categorical X's for the question I asked. Let me go look at Trace's question. Compare R squareds adjusted. Yep. That's it. Kind of just talk through that a little bit and say which one is better and to see if the polynomial helps. So, and then you will go right here, create a simple model with no variables and compare it to your model using a partial F. Oh, so I didn't do the poly. For some reason, I thought I did. But you can create a simple model with one variable and compare it to your model using a partial F. And yeah, interpret the p-value of the partial F so that your boss understands the results. Good stuff there. We can do any other topic you want. What topics do we have? It is your time to ask questions. Ask all those questions. Let me know. New simulations. Don't care. Looking through. Free tickets to a show. Someone offering boot camp for my students. Omeze, last day. So whenever I get something from like, it says it's from like my credit card, I'm like, I think this is fake. So afraid of too many fake things. For 3, are we comparing the simple to the poly again? You can do that. So for 3, you can compare, and we'll talk about some partial F right here. Let's go talk about that partial F again. Where did partial F go? Yep. So you can use the partial F right here to compare a one variable model to maybe your polynomial. I think mine had something like 9 variables in it. So you can do the partial F right here to make this comparison. And you're trying to ask if these 8 variables bring with them new information. So to do this right here, we'll take like ANOVA. And I've already got my model saved as M1X, I believe. Ooh, too few things. There it is. That is my one variable model. And then we put a comma. I think I have to save as m.poly. And as you would think, and if you notice, here's the 8. That 8 comes into play because there's an 8 variable difference. Or, excuse me, 8 coefficient difference. Technically, 8 variables and 8 coefficients, but it's always going to be the coefficient differences between the model. So there is a coefficient difference of 8 between the models. The one variable model had 1, where my poly model has 9 coefficients. What do I mean by that? The coefficients are seen right here. 1 coefficient, 2 coefficient, 3 coefficient, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No one cares about U-intercept because, you know, the M1X also has it. The real difference, really? MX1, that's what I called it. MX1. It also has one coefficient right here, and this one right here compared to these extra 8. I think it just has desired weight, does it? So these are the extra 8 right here. Here's desired weight. That is the first order of desired weight. And then we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 extra coefficients. And that's what we're getting right here when we run the output and we compare the two models. So comparing our polynomial model to our simple model, what does this tell us? Well, the p-value is what we need to focus in on. If anyone's wondering what that p-value means, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2. And that is the p-value right there, which is ridiculously tiny. You know what? I'm wondering... Broom is the package. I am wondering what this will do to it. Oh, it actually gives a better p-value on it. Thank you, Broom. This is a new package I'm working with right here, trying to understand it better. But this actually shows a better estimate of the p-value right here, which means it's more ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 7, 5, 8. And that's the p-value right here. It's ridiculous. It's just, for some reason, a lot of our output always rounds it to this right here, or just puts it to that whenever it's 0, basically. I know this is not technically 0, but it's about as small as 0 can be. A little more rounding in the table also than I would like. Some things I like about this, some things I don't like. Tidy is in the Broom package, but is a rather interesting thing that creates like a tidier output. There was another thing. I don't think it's Tibble. I'd have to look at Broom. So I'm kind of just talking about some random things right here. It's got a lot of great stuff in this, but I was looking at this package this weekend, looking at the Broom package, which is like for cleaning up stuff, making it look nicer. Where is it? There it is right here. And there was Glance. It's got Glance, Tidy, and so it must be Glance. And that gives you the p-value of the model, gives you the degrees of freedom, gives you the r squared adjusted, and the RMSE. But there was another one I thought I liked right here, where maybe I'm going crazy. It doesn't like that. Confident, Bootstrap, Augment. Let me try Augment. That one, yeah, this is cool. The Augment, which I don't know why it's called Augment, but the Augment is actually giving us some of the things we talked about today. We didn't call it these names like the Hats matrix. So Hats is going to be the influence of each point, and you can see here the residual, the fitted, which is going to be the prediction for the model, and then we've got here the X variables. So it gives you the X variables, it gives you the fitted, and we can actually, you know, save this as values or something. But the augment function is pretty cool, and I've been looking at things to like incorporate, and it saves it as a tibble. A tibble is a kind of table used in the tidyverse. So tidyverse creates tibbles, which apparently just work faster and stuff like that. It's got the Cook's, no, Hats is leverage, and Cook's SD, Cook's distance, not Cook's Cook SD, but Cook's distance is going to be the influence of a point. So we should be able to sort by highest influence by going right here. And there we are with this person who has a height of 75 inches, who weighs 75 pounds, and they are the most influential. They don't have the most leverage, though. Oh, do they also have the most leverage? They might also. Hats is a measure of leverage, I'm pretty certain. Sometimes I get Cooks. They just need to call it leverage. Just call the thing leverage if it's leverage. Just call the thing influence if it's influence. Cook's distance. Am I reversing these? Statistics. Cook's distance is influence. There it is. Cook's distance is influence, and Hats is leverage. Always reversing those. The Hat matrix provides a measure of leverage. So here's our leverage right here. These are the smallest leverage points. So this individual is closest to the mean of the X's. They are 5'3". They want to weigh 145. They weigh 152. They have a 3.2 GPA. This person's also close to the mean of the X's. They are 5'7". They want to weigh 145. They weigh 150. If you look, they're very similar. A lot of these people are all very similar. And then the people we have who are far away from the mean of the X's, and this is in a multivariate sense. This person right here, especially being 6'3" and weighing this right here, is very odd. This person right here is 4'6", wants to weigh 150 and weighs 260. I think they're 5'4". I don't think they're 4'6", because I think they meant to put 5'4" right there, which would be 64 inches, which is interesting. That's an interesting one. So a lot of cool stuff going on right there. A lot of big interpretations. More questions if you have them. Let me know your more questions. But I've been looking at this package and trying to think about how we can incorporate it. It's just we don't always use all these metrics. All these metrics right here. So I think Trace got another one. So for the F-statistic model, so we use the polynomial model since it's... Which question is that again? Say, which one are you doing right now, Trace? And I'll kind of connect this output to what we did today. So you can see this point right here. Oh, look. Look. You see the hats right there? That confirms, you can't see it behind me. Literally, that's the leverage of this point. That is the leverage. And the Cook's D right here is how big the circle is. So the size of the circle right here, 3 for the F-statistics. Here, let's do that next right here. And then you can see right here, the next, all of these points having leverage similar to this. About 0.04 something is where all the leverage is down here. But this point is ridiculous. The size of the circle is the size of the Cook's distance. So some neat things right there that we don't have to do. It's all plotted for us right here. But if you're wondering, all of this is seen right here. And the standardized residual is probably very similar to what we're doing. These two look virtually identical. So they might be calculating this as a deleted studentized residual. They don't say anything about it being deleted, so I'm unsure. Oh, yeah, they're not deleting it because they're getting... No, these got more extreme. Yeah, these are more extreme. This is right here. So maybe, I don't know if they're deleting it there. They don't say it, so I'm going to assume they're not deleting it. Here, we'll come back here. We'll talk about number 3. So let's talk about number 3. Here we go. Create a simple model with one variable and compare it to your model using a partial F test. Interpret the p-value with the partial F so that your boss can understand the result. And so Trey says, so for the F statistics in your model, it is statistically significant, so we'd use the polynomial model so it does better. If yours turns out that way, if yours turns out this way, and the review for this is right here. So when you're looking at the F statistic, you're asking and this is the partial F specifically, is going from the simple model with less variables in it to the complex model, and these are the difference between the estimates in the model. Does that achieve a reduction in sums of squares that is unlikely by random chance? When you see a low p-value below 0.05, then you'd be saying that the bigger model does a reduction that is statistically significant, as in this model helps. But in the instances, which some people may have, that your model does not have a low p-value, well then right here with a high p-value, we run into the scenario where we would use the smaller model because the reduction in sums of squares is not statistically significant. So you'd say like, no, we're going to keep to the smaller model right here. What is happening between going from the simpler model, the much smaller model here, to the larger model is a reduction that is most likely by random chance. Does that make sense there, Trace? I think you should be doing great on this. People might just be burning through this assignment right now, just like, because we covered all of it during class today, I think. I think we got everything done during class. I wanted to make sure we pretty much have all the knowledge as quickly as possible. I don't love doing things the day of, like, hey, we got this. Awesome. Yep, I want it to be like 2 hours of work, you get it done, and you're good to go. So great job knocking it out. But yeah. Need more coffee. Need that second cup today. What questions are there? Let me know. I gotta remember all these codes I learned. Like I learned so many unique little codes like augment. And I think augment's also used in dplyr, which that's not gonna help me if augment's in dplyr also. So are you thinking of increasing the total points to... I think I'd increase it to 3. You know, let's do that right now. No, it's in Broom. I'm thinking to mutate. Let's go in. Let's increase the total points to 3. Make some new levels. Okay, let's make the total points 3. I got wrong thing open. Mubot, time to add in more points. I'm losing my mind. Okay, here we go. So we got 20,000. No, 10,000 is the thing right now. Okay, I think we've done it. So it's up to 3 points now. And yeah, it might have changed your status. It might not have. So I've updated them. Sometimes it takes a little while to like talk through things and get himself situated. So you're at, and you will reach the next level at 20,000, but there's a level beyond that, which, you know, I got to change the level because you wouldn't reach it. Here, wait, I'm gonna be nice on this. I'm adjusting things for where people are at, because it's easier to adjust to where people are at. Like, I'm gonna keep working these point levels and stuff to get them exactly where I want them to, with like how many points I give out. Like, I don't know. It's just like a time thing to be like, how much time is there? How many points do I give out? So I think this has it. So Trace, I've actually just try looking at your points again, Trace, and see what you have, because I just updated it again. And so you might have reached the next level because you're at Brian tier. And I don't know how quickly Mubot updates these things, but I did update it. So yours will update. You will reach the next tier. You will be at a higher point level, but there is a point level beyond this. So you're still, it hasn't updated your thing yet. Just Mubot takes a while. There is a level beyond this. There is a level beyond this. So there is a level beyond this, and you could reach it. Well, we got to take away this one. Remove this. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. We've got all the levels on the screen. I've got them all situated. And I'm always trying to like work it so that the points are just like right amount. People get the right amount of reinforcement. I need to like go through and like between semesters, I need to like look at it, see where people get at. It's 25,000, which I think you can get to. I think you can do it. You know, points get bigger as the semester goes on generally. So I think you could reach the 25,000. I put a new point tier at 15,000. So you've reached the 2.75 points. And I need to like make the jumps smaller. But I know people really like getting these new point tiers. So I'm trying to create that positive reinforcement over here at this new point tier. You got some more bonus. But all the levels, like as you level up, I wish it would just say in the chat, like you leveled up. Like, could you imagine? I wish the chat did that. Like Mubot would be like, you leveled up. Like, I don't know. Mubot would actually have to check things and like put in the chat, like, congratulations, so-and-so, and it would like mark your text like you leveled up. You could do it. It's more points than ever. Yeah, like on Discord or something. That's how like the Discord bots do it. And so it's just the way YouTube chat works. It's a little bit different. So Ivan right there getting some great. Ivan, you're near the next tier. We'll throw out some 20 points right now. Ivan getting very close to that next tier right here. Ivan, you will reach that 2.5 tier. Oh my gosh. I need to create a hotkey for this. I wonder what I need to do is I need to create a macro. Yeah, and it'd be great if we had custom emojis. We don't have custom emojis and stuff. We've just got like YouTube emojis. You just put like YouTube symbols and stuff like that, like, you know, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of great things that Twitch has that we can't do here. And also, Mubot works on Twitch, but he's not linked to our Twitch. And I've got a Twitch, but I just don't use it. It's like, you know, like 10 billion things. So a lot of things. You can get custom emotes on YouTube. Actually, I think you can with channel memberships and stuff. And I'm always afraid to turn those things on. So I think you are actually correct that... Let's Google this. You might need channel memberships. which I don't want to do. Yeah, channel membership perks. The problem with that would be we don't want people signing up. Like, I don't want someone being like, I pay Brian $10 a month to teach on YouTube. And yeah, I don't think, if you ever have suggestions, let me know. You need to turn on sponsorships. Yeah, I think I'd have to put on like sponsorships, and I think the only people who would have them would be people who are members on the channel, which are like I don't want people paying for membership. I wish I could just give out memberships because I can do like member only streams. I've never had a class that does this kind of stuff, and it's, oh, thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always trying to think of ways to do stuff like this. Like, I think it's super fun to stay engaged. I think it's really interesting to like get points and be like, oh, I got this many points. Like, I'm reaching this new level. Yeah, it would cost like $5 for a membership. Yeah, so that's the issue, is like, we can make the custom emotes. I really want to talk to someone at YouTube and say, you really need to make YouTube education. Like, you've got YouTube gaming, but you need to have YouTube education. So like, literally, if you go to YouTube education, you need to be like a certified educator. Like, I could have a YouTube education account, and maybe they would monitor chats more closely, and I could give out free memberships on that, so I could find out who my students are and just sign them all up to a YouTube like education. Like, they would have access to my channel, or like your .utk.edu would be connected to it, and only utk.edu signed in accounts would see the stream. That wouldn't be too hard to do, because they already do like members only streams. If you watch like PewDiePie or anyone streaming, it does members only streams. So maybe other people could see it, but then only people with utk.edu emails could chat. That does not seem too hard to do, because you can see whose email the account is on, and then you can give that person permission to chat. I know. And then I could literally just like make the streams public. For the most part, we've had a lot of good stuff. We have a lot of good people who swing by. We got our Bulgarian friend. So we've got a lot of positive people who swing by. We've had a few less than positive or less than nice individuals. I've taken like 20 classes in college from dual enrollment at my local community college and here at U2, and this is the most interactive class online I've ever had. Thank you so much, Ivan, right there. Yeah, this is what it's meant to be. This is a live streaming class, which, we're always interacting. Thank you so much. And, definitely, if you like it, tell it in the, because my job, I don't think UT ever is going to fire me. Thank you, Rachel, too. I don't think UT is like being like, do we need Brian Stevens? I think they're very happy with what I do. But it's from the comments from students, too. Like, if the students started saying like, Brian's not really doing much. Brian's just talking about video games all class. We talked about video games at the start. Of course we're going to talk about video games. We're going to talk about Rick and Morty. Great episode last week. But we're going to spend, awesome, Trace. Have a great day, too. We're going to spend class learning a lot of statistics. That's what we do. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to enjoy and talk for a moment. Because it's life. Because if we're going to have a 100-minute class, probably 80% of that's going to be education focused, and 20% is going to be Brian being ADD. Your brain's got to take a break. Your brain can't stay on one track for 100 minutes. You start off, you say hey to everyone, you talk to the chat, you relax for a moment, you get 5 minutes in, you say, okay, let's get serious here, let's do some work. It's nice. Make sure you want to show up at the start, not like, hey, class, let's start. Topic 1. I don't know. Just, want to know how people are doing. It's life. It's real world. But one thing I really like about this also is I constantly play with this USB stick. Is, we're here to have a conversation. Like, you can ask questions anytime. You come in the chat. I'm always watching the chat. You guys know that right there. I say you guys because I'm from New York. But always watching the chat. So I appreciate that people find this to be a very interactive class, because that is my goal. My goal is this is not, sorry to trash on Zoom, some sort of Zoom thing where you show up and I look into a camera and just talk to the void. I want this to be interactive, because that's what I believe for education. I believe education should be interactive. You should be able to communicate like you're in a class and raise your hand. At this point, you can just say anything in the chat and I'll respond. But yeah. So thank you, Trace, Rachel, Ivan, and I think we had William was here today. We'll head off here in a moment. So yeah, I'll play one more song. What song should we play? Play a song we don't usually play. Just chill out song like this one right here. Try to remember why I picked this song. YouTube has a bunch of free music. I don't like it. I should delete that song. YouTube has a bunch of royalty-free music that you can put and use without worrying about getting copyright claimed. Someone was asking earlier about the music I had. They asked if it was, I think, Mega Man in class, but no, it's just YouTube royalty-free music. And yeah. So with that, I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a Kahoot for 201 tonight. It's my Celeste type music. It's not real Celeste music, but I think that's got it. Mubot, you doing all right, man?
I am Mubot.
You chilling out. I got to do it like, you all right, Mubot?
I am Mubot.
Okay, I didn't look over there then. Well, with that, thank you everyone for showing up. If you have questions, let me know. If you're working hard, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye for now. Bye. Bye, Tiny Brian.
Bye, Brian.